Howdy folks, so I would have made this review around like Saturday after I saw Kung Fu Panda 4 with my family, but I was a bit busy around Saturday because I completely forgot I was having a birthday party with my siblings. Which, in other words, I forgot my siblings were throwing a birthday party because both their birthdays had happened recently. My little brother had just turned 9 about last Sunday. As for this Monday, my sister had turned 11. Oh wait, she just had her golden birthday. God dang! But still, I've been meaning to make this review, but I've been busy trying to catch up with schoolwork, which I still need to catch up with schoolwork. Oh my god, what have I been doing? Oh, I know what I've been doing. I've been doodling around, coloring, drawing in class, which is nothing new. I pretty much have done that throughout my entire school year life and stuff, which, yeah, these are actual drawings I've drawn, where I drew me and my brother, and my little brother Rylan as Godzilla, Kong, and also Mega Godzilla, while I drew my other siblings as Scar King and Shimu, well, Javi as Scar King, and then Kanema as Shimu, and I just did this one today, as I just finished it, because I'm just on the hype train for Godzilla x Kong, as I need March 29th right now. Technically, I'm going to see it early in IMAX on the 28th, and I just got the Kong costume that my mom's going to be wearing, unless Gabe ends up wearing it, if he's able to tag along. Well, I need to get the Godzilla costume. But I did also color this, which I drew back in December when we got the trailer. Well, before we got the trailer, it showed them the date there. But another thing about it, did I drew this for nothing? Now having to see the movie? I mean, it's still a badass artwork. I'm pretty proud of it, of how it turned out. But having to see the movie, I'm like thinking, did I do this for nothing? And yeah, for today's video, okay, I'm sorry, I can't help it. My hair does not look right. That hair gels came off, and it looks like I've taken a shower, which, no, I've not. I just put water in my hair because I just wanted to make it look nice. I'm just gonna have the hood on, you know, because just know that if I have a hood on over my head, it's because my hair is a mess. So just know that if I have a hood on, it's because I have messy hair. Unless it's for a video. I don't know. But mainly just because if I have messy hair. But with that being said, so yeah, we're now going to be talking about Kung Fu Panda 4, which is now playing in theaters, as I saw it last week. And, so far, I've seen some people enjoying it. I mean, this is where it's at on Rotten Tomatoes, but this is going to be interesting. So if you've seen my movie vlog, I've mentioned about that. I enjoyed it. I gave it a solid 8 out of 10. That's pretty much still my rating for this movie, an 8 out of 10. But I did also said that this was the weakest in the franchise. And having to think about it, I pretty much know why I have a slight disappointment with it, especially since we got in the first trailer. And it's all because I had my expectations way too up high. But let's just talk about some pros and cons. And I can only think of 1 or 2 cons in here, as far as I know. So yeah, this is the 4th movie in the series, and as I said in my movie vlog, I didn't think we'd be getting a 4th movie once they announced it 2 years ago, but I wasn't complaining. But then once we got further details that the 3 villains we have gotten for the past 3 movies will be returning, yeah, I was getting vibes of Spider-Man No Way Home. You know, how we saw all past Spider-Man villains return in an MCU movie, interact with our MCU Spider-Man, which still blows my mind that's even happened, but No Way Home, I'm glad that movie exists today. Like, that's now become one of my favorite movies of all time for personal reasons. But still, back to topic. Yeah, I basically smelled potential for, oh, this may be the best Kung Fu Panda movie ever. And, I think that's where I had my expectation way too high because of the villains comeback. Like, not that I thought I'd imagine it exactly like No Way Home, but had a similarity because of the villains. But just, yeah, all we knew was that the main villain of the movie, the Chameleon, would be bringing them back. And we figured that Poe would be fighting all 3 of them and stuff. And as soon as we got the trailer, we only saw one of them come back, and that was Tai Lung getting his butt whooped by a freaking lizard. A chameleon's a lizard, right? And just, so as far as what I've seen, there's some folks that have enjoyed it, but some folks that don't enjoy it, as they see it as a disappointment. But for me, personally, I enjoyed it. I'll admit, it's definitely the weakest in the series. I don't know if it's my least favorite, but it could be. I don't know. I'm probably gonna be back and forth about it, but just, I wouldn't say it's the worst because all of them are good. And it's mainly because they're all funny as hell. As my mom had mentioned that they're all funny. Yes, these Kung Fu Panda movies are funny, thanks to Jack Black. But in terms of, like, storytelling, as Deadpool would say, well, that's just lazy writing. And by lazy writing, I think there was probably a little bit of some lazy writing in this movie. Mainly with the villain, because the first three are well-written villains, while the Chameleon, and this is something I saw on TikTok, and whoever made that TikTok video had a good point about something involving the Chameleon, which I'm gonna try to explain in a sec. Well, let's just talk about pros, as I've mentioned. So one, Jack Black. Do I even need to explain? I mean, it's Jack Black. It's Jack Black. But jokes aside, though, he was funny as always, as he's been for the past 3 Kung Fu Panda movies. As for another pro I have, which is definitely a highlight of the movie, and that was a dynamic we had between both of Poe's dads. And I heard from 3C Films' review that that's one of the highlights of the movie. That got me a little excited just to see their interactions with each other, and yeah, their dynamic together is definitely a highlight for this movie. As for the new character Zen, and as 3C Films have brought this up in some of his videos, everybody just does not like Awkwafina. Like, whenever she's casting something, I'm like, when did people start hating Awkwafina? That feels so random now, or something. But yeah, Awkwafina is Awkwafina in this movie. In other words, yeah, she was a likable character as Zen, who would be a thief in this movie. As for the Chameleon, now, she may not be as great as the first 3 movie villains, but I did like I did kind of like the villain. I mean, the Chameleon is voiced by Viola Davis, and yeah, she killed it as the Chameleon. But even though I did dug the Chameleon, she's definitely probably gonna be my least favorite villain. And unfortunately, one of my negatives for this movie definitely has to do with the villain, because she's kind of a lazy written villain, as I saw a TikTok video about this. Because in the movie, and I am going to mention some spoilers, so if you've not seen Kung Fu Panda 4, I should just go check it out. Check it out with the rest of the family, honestly. It's definitely a fun movie to watch with the whole family, so yeah, definitely go check this out in theaters, and then come back to watching this review. But there's a scene where she mentioned that she couldn't do Kung Fu because she was too small. We have Master Shifu and Mantis, who are quite small, especially Mantis, who are Kung Fu warriors. As Deadpool once said,
well, that's just lazy writing.
Lazy writing indeed. But 2 more pros before I get on with some of my negatives, which I guess would just only be 1 as far as I know. I think this movie possibly has one of the best action sequences we've seen in the Kung Fu Panda movies. And what I heard a while back in December, they wanted to have a little bit of Spider-Verse inspiration for this movie. And yeah, I kind of saw some of that in here. And lastly, as much as we don't get enough screen time for some certain villains in here, it was definitely great seeing Tai Lung again, especially on the big screen, because I could have or could have not seen the first one in theaters. I'm not too sure. I can't remember that much. I was only 2 years old when the first movie came out, so it's hard to tell if I saw this in theaters or not, but either way, it was definitely great seeing one of my personal favorite Dreamworks villains on the big screen, even though if he was possibly done dirty, maybe? This is probably going to be my biggest gripe with the movie, and that is the villains come back in here. And I will agree with some folks, what they do in here does seem out of character for them, especially when they have an interaction with Poe a little bit at the end. But yeah, Tai Lung does have a cool action sequence, but I don't know. Just it was great seeing the villains again, but they maybe were done a little bit dirty, and I don't know. Again, like I said earlier, the reason I think I have a slight little disappointment with this movie is because I had so much high expectations for this movie and kept like comparing it to like, oh, this movie's definitely gonna be like No Way Home because of the whole villain situation. And honestly, I kind of wish it went with a different way between the Kung Fu Panda villains. And back in December, people were like coming up with theories thinking that Tai Lung will have a redemption arc, which honestly, now that I think about it, he should have had a redemption arc in this movie. And I did saw another TikTok video about how we should have gotten a fight sequence between Poe and Tai Lung versus General Kai and Lord Shen. And honestly, I think this is what probably should have happened in the movie. And it would have went well for Tai Lung to have a redemption arc. And that would be, once the villains would be brought back, Poe and Tai Lung team up. Therefore, we'd be getting a redemption arc for Tai Lung. And they'd be going up against General Kai and Lord Shen. And then around like the final battle, we'd then get Poe versus the Chameleon. But just, no, like that should have happened. we should have gotten a redemption arc for Tai Lung. That would have been perfect for him. As for Lord Shen and Kai, no, those guys, as much as they're like, I think they're broken villains, right? Or they're just evil villains. I don't know. I have to double check on YouTube because I saw a YouTube video of different villains that are either broken or just straight up evil. But there's also another TikTok video I saw, and apparently there was a scene cut out where Shifu would have seen Tai Lung again, and they have like a quick reunion with each other, and it would have been like an emotional moment. Like, they should have not cut that out. That's like a big moment there. I don't know what was going on behind the scenes, because apparently, and I kid you not, this is something I just heard on Twitter recently, and I'm like, oh my god, I cannot believe they were gonna go out with, like, what? And what is it that I found out about? So apparently, Kung Fu Panda 4 could have ended up being a live-action hybrid movie with humans involved. So, like, you mean to tell me Dreamworks was gonna give us a fourth Kung Fu Panda movie, but in live-action form? I am aware that we're gonna be having our first live-action Dreamworks movie with How to Train Your Dragon that's currently filming, unless it just finished filming recently. I don't know, but yes, we are getting a live-action How to Train Your Dragon movie directed by the same guy that made the first 3 movies, and is coming out next year, which I'm gonna do a video talking about my thoughts on that. Now, I'm down for some Dreamworks movies getting live-action treatment, but for Kung Fu Panda, I'm actually... Okay, apologies for that. Where was I? Okay, I'm fine with some Dreamworks movies getting live-action treatment. That's just my personal opinion, but that depends on what movie is going to be adapted in live-action. And for once, I will actually agree with some folks. Now, I don't mind some stuff getting live-action. Now, with that being said, I guess it's going to depend on what movie is going to get live-action treatment. For Kung Fu Panda, yeah, I don't know how they could pull that off, as I would just prefer it, just leave it be. Don't bring it into live-action form. I don't know. Apparently, there was like a little drama stuff going on with Kung Fu Panda 4. I don't know. I was just shocked to find out some details about this movie that could potentially just make me change my opinion about it. Like, oh no, now you're gonna make me not like it just for this, and it's gonna leave a poor taste in my mouth. But still, even though I am aware of what happened during this movie process, I still like it. Thank God they didn't went with the live action route and it's still animation form, which, by the way, this has a very low budget compared to the first 3 movies, and I saw some folks complain about it. I don't know why they're complaining, because with it having a low budget, it still looks good. I don't know, there's just some stuff I found out about that left a poor taste in my mouth knowing about Kung Fu Panda 4, and yeah, we are definitely going to get a 5th and 6th movie. That's totally going to be happening, but I'm hoping they can maybe do a better job than 4, as that's going to be the weakest in the franchise. Unless it could have the same thing as 4 did. I don't know, but something tells me that once we even get 5 and 6, we're all just going to prefer 1 to 3 over 5 to 6. Oh, and one last thing. The Furious 5 were not in it. Well, they technically were in this movie. Actually, they were added last minute before releasing this movie. But it was nice seeing them again. Just sadly, the voice actors didn't return to voice them. Same can go with the voice actors for Kai and Lord Shen. Although, I am happy we got to see them again. And as much as I can understand why people were upset they weren't in the movie much, I honestly don't see how they could have fit it into the main story for this. But hopefully we'll get to see them more in the 5th one, which don't know when we're going to be getting that, but I don't know, just now hearing some details what happened behind the scenes, it's now leaving a poor taste in my mouth. And having to think, but no, I wish this movie could have gone differently, especially with the whole villains. I mean, at first, I thought I liked the concept of the chameleon stealing villain powers, but now thinking about it and having to see the movie, I'm like, I don't get it. What, like, so you take over China or something? I don't know. Not gonna lie, I kind of wish this movie had went differently, I guess, or something. I don't know. Again, the reason I have a little slight disappointment is because I had too high expectations with it because of the villains coming back. And that's definitely going to be one of my biggest gripes with the movie, and it's just the villains being in here. Yes, it was great seeing them for a couple of seconds, but just, they were kind of done slightly dirty. But no, I think we can all agree that Tai Lung should have at least gotten a redemption arc for this movie. That would have been perfect for him. But we just saw him do something that was totally out of character for him. And also, for everyone that were just theorizing of Tai Lung being the next Dragon Warrior, I knew that, okay, I don't want to sound like a party pooper or disagree with you, but if it isn't obvious, Zhen is going to be the next Dragon Warrior. Now, not that I'm against it, like, I'm giving it a shot. I'm willing to see how she's gonna pull off being the next Dragon Warrior for this new trilogy. Still, I don't know if I have any more thoughts I could say about this movie other than that. Me, personally, I did enjoy it. I now slightly have a poor taste in my mouth knowing some certain details about this movie, especially that it was gonna be a live-action hybrid, like, Universal and Dream. I don't know whose idea was this. Either it was Universal or Dreamworks. Actually, now I think about it, it could be Dreamworks, because y'all have made some dumb decisions in the past. Like, one, for example, changed the damn... Actually, no, that was probably Netflix's fault. I don't know. But either way, Dreamworks, you did do something dumb involving another Dreamworks character, and that would be Megamind, which... Stay tuned for my review for that. I would have made that today, but I meant to make this video yesterday, but didn't have enough time, so... Yeah, definitely stay tuned for my Megamind review, as I did finish watching the series last week. And my movie reaction is still blocked, unfortunately, so don't know when you'll be seeing that. And yes, I'm aware that I was basically watching a kid's movie. That's what was the sad part about Megamind 2. It was straight up for kids. But you'll know my thoughts on that soon once I make that. But yeah, my overall rating is going to be an 8 out of 10. It could possibly be my least favorite. I mean, I enjoyed it. It's not the worst movie, just that I was slight disappointment, but I'm glad I got to enjoy it once I saw it in theaters. It's sadly gonna have to be last for my ranking, which I have 3, 1, and 2. Unless I'm back and forth with 1 or 3 being at number 1. I don't know. Just I'm gonna be back and forth with my first 2 on the top, but just I will say the first 3 are definitely better than the 4th movie, unfortunately. With that being said, this is just my thoughts on Kung Fu Panda 4. Be sure to let your thoughts comment down below if you've got the chance to see it in theaters. And yeah, which one's your most favorite Kung Fu Panda movie in the franchise? Because it's no longer a trilogy, because we now have 4 movies. As I've said before, I think the third one's definitely the best in the trilogy, in my personal opinion. I can now understand why the second is the best, but my personal favorite is still going to be the first movie, because just like... It just was that good, okay? I mean, I've already talked about this in my movie review for it, but still, as always, hope you guys enjoyed this review, and I'll see you all in the next video. And before I end off this video, I'm going to end it off in me vibing to what is another pro I have for this movie, because Jack Black, I love you, man, because, like, oh, this is something I totally forgot to mention, but just, like, the ending song for this movie freaking slaps. Last year we had Peaches. In 2024, we have Hit Me Baby one more time.